Presidency says President Buhari is opposed to open grazing. Basic education certificate examination to begin next week. And on the foreign scene, presidential elections begins in Syria. I am Carl Orakwe with the news. Justice Simeon Amadi is to be sworn in as the Chief Judge of Rivers State today. He takes over from Justice Iyai Laminkara, who was sent off in Port Harcourt yesterday. During the valedictory ceremony of Justice Laminkara, which held in Port Harcourt, Governor Nyesom Wike said the no work, no pay policy will be introduced if the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria JUSUD strike continues till June.
The JUSUD people that are here, if you block your ear, hear me now. There was no committee. I will say I will not do it. I only recognize the head of court who will release the funds to the court or to the judiciary, and the judiciary has its own head. I wish to warn therefore that if JUSUD fails to call off the strike this month, then government would have no option but to implement the prevailing law on no work, no pay. In fact, what I will do, I will tell my colleagues how we can even extend, if we can go up to 1 year, then we'll see who will lose at the end of the day.
Meanwhile, former Commissioner for Chieftaincy Affairs in Rivers State, John Bazier, has criticized Governor Nyesom Wike for threatening to implement the no work, no pay policy on striking judiciary workers. Dr. Bazier said this in a television interview.
They are talking about autonomy for the judiciary. You can see what he's saying. How do you say you've been given freedom, autonomy to the judiciary? And the same you who is saying that is fighting that the judiciary shouldn't have autonomy.
The former Rivers State Commissioner also said that APC leaders who recently defected to the PDP were moles. He accused them of conniving with the PDP to undermine their party in the state.
If I see that my own interest and the interests of my people are not adequately represented, the first thing I would do as a man of honor is to resign. But the difference between us and them is that every one of them that has decamped so far were moles. I was of the PDP, so I know they used to come and bring information. You can't be in a party you don't like and you're conniving with the opposition to undermine your party to make sure you lose the election. So where's the honesty?
I recall that last weekend, former chairman of the APC, David Zikaya, Igor Aguma, Isobo Jack and others defected to the PDP. Governor Nyesom Wike is among top Nigerian politicians to be honored in London in July. Former Senate President Bukola Saraki and former Speaker House of Representatives are also on the list. Others are Senators Dino Melaye and Enyinnaya Abaribe, Dr. Mike Onolomene, Chief Dan Obi and Daisy Danjuma. The event will be the Africa Youth Empowerment Award, which is organized by London-based Pan-African non-governmental organization Ebony Ambassadors. The group says the honor will come to these African leaders because of their notable and outstanding contributions to nation building. The presidency says President Muhammadu Buhari is opposed to open grazing of cattle. Presidential spokesman Garba Shehu said this in a television interview following rising criticism of his statement, which quoted the president as querying the legality of Southern Governor's ban on open grazing. Shehu said President Buhari will want to see an end to the archaic practice of open grazing of cattle. He added that the objective of the president and that of the governors fully align. He said states able to meet minimum requirements will be encouraged to embark on ranching. He expressed optimism that those opposed to ranching will change their minds when it becomes fully functional. The presidential spokesman said the president views open grazing as old-fashioned and was looking forward to a replacement of the practice. He, however, said the banning of open grazing without an alternative is not a good approach to the issue. A Northern Elders Forum, NEF, has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to assert his constitutional powers to keep all Nigerians united and secured in every part of the country. NEF spokesperson Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, in a statement, rejected the position of the southern governors and demanded that President Buhari either protects the country's territorial integrity or accept that he is incapable of leading the nation through the present challenges. As ahead in the news, basic education certificate examination to begin next week. Do stay tuned.
To thrive in a fast-changing world,
tune in to 92.3 Nigeria Info for the best of news, talk and sports 24/7.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. The Ebonyi State Police Command has refuted reports of a suicide bombing in the state. Ebonyi State Police Command spokesperson Loveth Oda said what happened was an accident involving a mobile police officer.
A mobile police officer attached to the protest to Abakaleke but on special duty at Afiko. This morning when he got up and wanted to go to his work as usual, he hands in locally, they call it tear gas. Gun now hit the team by force and the team exploded and killed him. The picture you are seeing on social media is not a suicide bomber but a policeman.
Oda urged residents to question and verify reports to avoid crisis. An earlier media report had said the suicide bomber blew himself up opposite a popular market in Afikpo on Tuesday. A man who disguised as a woman was stripped and paraded after he was caught in a female hostel at Ignatius Ajuru University of Education. On Monday night, videos circulating on social media showed students chanting, "Burn this thief," after the man. Now, our correspondent gathered that the man, who is not a student of the school, confessed that he disguised to have access to his girlfriend. Meanwhile, a human rights group, Center for Basic Rights Protection and Accountability Campaign, has condemned the stripping and parade of the man. National coordinator of the group, Prince Wiro, told our correspondent that the action is a gross violation of the suspect's right to human dignity.
This reckless, unpatriotic, and highly provocative act was orchestrated by a group of faceless comedians, having conscripted some handpicked, hapless, and vulnerable elders to perfect their plots. That Roommate clan has no royal high.
I do apologize for that. Now, this year's Basic Education Certificate Examination, BECE, will start next week, Tuesday, and end on June 9. The Rivers State Ministry of Education made this known in a notice signed by the Permanent Secretary, Chidi Adiele. It advised all school heads not to allow JSS3 students go on vacation on June 4. From the foreign scene, Syria is holding the presidential election today. Polling stations were opened this morning as voting is expected to last the whole day. Syria's Interior Minister Mohammed Al-Rahmoun announced on Tuesday that over 12,000 polling stations had been set up across the country for the presidential elections. The minister said all logistic preparations have been finalized to ensure smooth elections, and it's estimated that over 18 million citizens across the country are eligible to vote. 3 candidates are running in the election, namely President Bashar al-Assad, former Deputy Cabinet Minister Abdullah Salum Abdallah, and Mahmoud Ahmed Mari, head of a small Syrian opposition party. Syrians living overseas have already cast their ballots at Syrian embassies and consulates. In business, the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, has confirmed that the £4.2 million looted by ex-governor of Delta State, James Ibori, has been returned to the state. The Accountant General explained why to the House of Representatives Ad hoc Committee when he appeared before them in Abuja on Tuesday.
Some recoveries are for state governments. I know there was a time recovery was made on behalf of, is it Plateau State? There was one for Bayelsa. So such recoveries go to the state. Any recovery that is, arising from looted funds from a particular state goes to the state. The state governors will not even allow this to fly. You know they will not. They will take federal government to court for holding their money.
In entertainment, Nollywood star Ife Onwunene, famed for her role in the popular sitcom Everyday People, has died of cancer. I was gathered that the actress who died yesterday has been battling endometrial cancer. Her colleagues in the film industry, Gloria Anozie-Young, broke the news of her death via her Facebook page. In sports, former Super Eagles stars Nwankwo Kanu and Emmanuel Amunike have expressed their disappointment at not seeing Victor Osimhen, Wilfred Ndidi and Kelechi Iheanacho qualify for the UEFA Champions League with their respective clubs. The 3 players missed out on Europe's most glamorous football competition on the final day of the season. And that does it here on the news this afternoon. But before we go, here's a quick look at the major stories. Earlier on, we told you Justice Simeon Amadi is to be sworn in as Chief Judge of Rivers State today. You heard the presidency has said President Muhammad Buhari is opposed to open grazing. We also brought you a report that basic education certificate examination is to begin on June 1. And from the foreign scene, you heard the presidential election has started in Syria. The news was edited by Choma Ezenwafo. For breaking news stories and eyewitness reports, do contact our newsroom on 0818 900 0017. Cloudy weather is expected in Port Harcourt this afternoon. I am Carl Orakwe. To enjoy your day.